Hi everybody, I have a very special journal to share with you today, and this journal was created, I ran across this new digital download on Etsy, and it's called Digital Paper Cuts, and I guess it's fairly new, and they put in the first edition collection of these very special watercolors from the 1800s, late 1800s, and it was the annual fashion show in Paris. They're all Paris designs and Paris models that have been painted, and they were at an estate sale, and they're all hand-painted watercolors, and it was originals, and evidently they made copies, scanned them in and made copies and sized them and put them on Etsy for people to download and put in their journals. And so I took advantage of that to be one of the first ones to come across, and that was what inspired this journal. And this journal is named Annie. Annie is the first daughter of Oliver Winchester, which I know everybody probably knows Winchester, the name Winchester. Oliver Winchester modified and simplified the base of a rifle that was called Henry rifle, creating the first Winchester rifle, and the name of that rifle was the model, in 1866. To celebrate his newfound company, he put Annie on a real elaborate cruise ship, because they were a very wealthy family, and they were going to become even more wealthy. So Annie got on her cruise ship going over to Paris to buy her wardrobe, her annual wardrobe, at the Paris fashion show. And Annie was also getting ready to get married in a year and a half, and so she was instructed by Oliver to look at the wedding gowns and see if she would like one of the designers over in Paris to design her wedding gown for her big wedding, which was going to be a huge event. And so when Annie arrived in Paris, she bought literally almost 100 dresses from different designers, and they will be made and shipped to her to have at home. And she did pick out a couple of wedding gowns that she liked, but she wanted to have something to take back on the voyage home, on the cruise ship home, where she could show her father and her fiance and her mother everything that she had purchased in Paris that would be coming soon, because everything was handmade back then. And so that's where the watercolor paintings came from that's in this Annie journal. They made the watercolor paintings. They commissioned an artist to paint every dress on different, every dress that she had purchased with a selected group of models which she liked to see. And so this is the rendition of those dresses that Annie bought to have delivered to her, and a couple of the wedding dresses that she was going to think about and show her mother and see which one that she was going to choose. So they put together all these not photos, but these paintings, these full-size paintings, and then they were reduced down and added into this journal for Annie to make her comments on her voyage back home and to document her trip. And so that is what this journal represents. And these are the colors of Annie's dresses. Is this beautiful purple, which is a new color for the 1866. And they had the gold and the greens and the darks and the burgundies dresses that you're going to see that she purchased. So this upholstery fabric represents all of the different colors of the vintage colors that Annie had purchased in Paris on her shopping trip. And so you have this beautiful don't know what you call it. You know, I'm not a seamstress, but it's not a ribbon, it's not lace. It's like little florets tucked in this real fine netting right here on the side, and you're going to see quite a bit of it on the side of the pages. And it's a 6x9. Annie has 272 pages and 6 signatures and 6 full-size envelopes added onto that. This is a flat 2.5-inch spine, and it is hidden. All the seam binding is hidden, and the back is just all upholstered and tucked around. It's a very beautiful pattern. It's very substantial, and the let's see here, the top has the cheesecloth, which is part of the spine design that helps hide the seam binding in there. You can see the purple colors coming through. That is one of the main colors of everything that I added to Annie's journal. And then on the front you have this beautiful layered flower that matches perfectly, and you have the little gold stems, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers here, and then the gold petals, and then there's a beautiful opaque round bead right here. And then on the front, as I said, front and top has the cheesecloth out, and then on the sides you have this beautiful antique linen color sari silk tie, and it's quite long. You can wrap it all the way around, or you can just tie it in a double bow. And then if you open it up, you're going to see the continuation of the colors. You have black cloth underneath here, and then you have a huge pocket that Annie's got to attach some letters into, and it matches the gold vintage, like an old vintage wall paper. And then here are the 2 first of Annie's dresses that were hand painted. Now the detail of these, and they're signed, each one of them are signed by the artist. Each one of them is the details of these dresses, and the head pieces that match. Some of the designers put in some head pieces to match the clothes. The dresses are so fancy, and the seamstry is so detailed. It's amazing that in 1866 that this was possible to come through. And then on this page you have this continuation of these purple rosettes on the edges. And these are 2 more of Annie's new dresses that'll be coming to her. And Annie had long dark hair, and so this is a perfect design for her hair. She likes to wear it pulled back in a braid like that. And these are her favorite colors. I mean, the burgundies are the maroons, and the rose colors combined. She wanted plenty of room to attach her tickets, her ship memoirs that she was going to have from her cruises to Paris and from Paris. But she wanted a lot of spaces to write notes like this that she'd be writing. She didn't care about the cost, so she's not going to be adding up the cost of all of these dresses. Her father said, just whatever you want, you can have, my dear. Full-size envelope that was cut, special edging on the sides, and each one of them has a fashion quote that Annie really liked, and they all have something inside like that that is very vintage. This quote here is, "If you're sad," and add more lipstick, and then attack. And that was a future quote from Coco Chanel that I wanted to add in there. That was sassy, like Annie was. Another pocket with another smaller hand painted of 2 more dresses. The real dark burgundy and a cream and a green. And this was definitely the newest and the latest styles in Paris in 1866, in the late 1800s. This is a folder that you can add something into or write on it and then close it. And here's some other pictures of some models that the artist hand painted. And these are the 2 wedding dresses that Annie wanted to show her mother. And then maybe this could be the mother's dress at the big wedding that they were going to have. Back then, whenever you had a large wedding, it was they were engaged for maybe a year and a half, 2 years, like that, because it took that long to get everything in place to have a showcase wedding like the Winchesters wanted Annie to have. And this is something in every woman of fashion wardrobe had a funeral dress, a death dress they called it, and this would be Annie's. And then you have this real sassy dress right next to it that whenever they're coming out of mourning, and that she could start wearing back her full colors. Annie liked a lot of color, but this is a very beautiful, elegant death dress for her to wear, and with the little hat. A plain, this is what they call their plain dresses that they just wear on a daily basis. You know, nothing really fancy. It's just the polka dot, and it's sort of a black and cream. Each one is different. This has a double apron, and this one has the ruffle, and it's sort of more straight, but with a fuller bottom, and the little umbrella. So this is what you'd wear in the horse buggy carriage or something like that to go downtown to get a ribbon for her hair or something like that. And she just couldn't wait to fill up all these pages with talking about her fiance and how wonderful it was to be shopping in Paris and to eat the food and see the sights. I mean, she was just, you know, basically she had never been over in Europe, and this was her first trip, so she was so excited. This is a neck, a hat with a neck, huge scarf here for her to wear with maybe one of those everyday dresses. It's pink and rose. And this is, dressing well is a form of good manners. And that was a quote by Tom Ford. And another special envelope with some pink lace on it. And there'll be a little surprise in there for you. This is a digital printing of a large flower. That's just her favorite flower. And another one. She likes bird cages and chandeliers. You know, they're going to be, they live in a big mansion now, but if you've ever seen on the Discovery Channel or something like that, the Winchester mansion just goes on and on and on. And so all of the different chandeliers and everything inside of the mansion is something that she wanted to reminisce about. A little doily. Another beautiful dress and hat. Just to think that all of these are originals, one of a kind, that she had ordered to be made especially for her. This is one of the veils that she wanted to show her mother. She didn't know which one that she wanted. And there's other quotes on throughout the dresses. This is another wedding dress with this beautiful embroidery with rhinestones and sequins, and it's really the fancier of the two. And then if you did that, maybe the mother would like to wear this one to the wedding as the mother's dress. Another hat. Hats and scarves were big back then to cover up their long hair. Here's another one of the everyday dresses. In the collection of at Digital Paper Cuts, There's, God, I think it was 18 collections, and each collection had 4. And then you have the journaling cards, and then the big pages. And then you have the extra pages that you can print on the other sides, like this, that matches all of the colors and everything, that you can print by whatever collections that you liked, and then put them together the way that you would like them. The reason I buy such amazing shoes is to take monumental steps. I don't know who that was by, but heavy cardstock. Every page has been edged to give it the more vintage look. Every page has been cornered to give it a softer, feminine look. And you have all of the fancy cuts throughout. Butterflies. This is like, it would have been like a party dress or an entertaining dress back then that she had ordered. The big pink and cream stripes, and see how tiny the waists are. Buttoned up, and this is like whenever the ruffles here in the front showing, so that's a little sexy for back then. This is like whenever they're entertaining at night, whenever they have a group over for dinner, that she would wear that. And here it is again, you can see it better. Then you have these journaling cards that are the repeats of some of the dresses that you can write on, and it's lined on the back. Fashion says me too, style says only me. So Annie was hoping that she was getting the best of the best, and that nobody else would have anything like what she was wearing, which I doubt if anybody in her state would have any of these dresses made specifically for them from Paris. They say clothes don't make the woman. Let me see. They say clothes don't make the woman, but they darn sure make the day. Another good quote with a different pink lace. Hurry up here. It's just such a big book and so much to say. But the main thing are the clothes and what they did back then to create these portraits with these models is amazing, I think. Just amazing. Let me get this straight. I have ordered new covering for my filming table here, but it's not in yet because I think my beige was beginning to look a little worn. I also call this my cutting table. This is where I come and cut my fabrics. And you're going to see more and more fabric journals from me this season. Before you leave the house, remove one piece. Coco Chanel saying. I remember that. It was like, you put on all the jewels that you want to wear, and then before you leave, you take off one piece. And then you're going to be just right. And each one of these are the cards that you can purchase from digital paper cuts. And I'll have the Etsy shop address below. For this journal is for sale, and I will also have it for digital paper cuts where you can look at the ladies. And I understand there's going to be more coming of different styles, but this was the first style. But they like the originals dresses, original paintings that they can scan in and have a story created around. We're almost there, almost there. This quote is, "In a world full of trends, I want to remain classic." These are digital stamps that I put in there on several of the pages. Naturally, I do not have a stamp of these ladies for sure. That's another pretty outfit. This is one of those daily dresses, but in a green. That was not uncommon back then, as they would order their daily dresses in many colors. They'd be made the same, but they'd just be different colors. And here's a pretty aqua blue, dark aqua blue, with the head dressing to match. Another quote that you can read whenever you purchase the, and it's folded that you can stick stuff down in there. And here's the back with another quote, another pretty red bonnet. And the back is the same as the front, with a large pocket here, and this antique wallpaper, which all of this was renditions of vintage wallpaper. A lot of it was, you know, they used different colors back then. This is when the colors are coming back into style now. And so here you go. She's big, she's beautiful. The fabric is gorgeous, and this just set it off. And so she's gonna be taking her notes. And I hope that you enjoyed the video, and leave some comments for me down below. And if you'd sign up for my channel, YouTube channel, I would really appreciate it. I'd like to build up my following a little bit more. And I'll have the Etsy site where this will be put on sale, that you can look at her. There'll be 10 pages, 10 photos of her on the Etsy site. And if you could do my favorite on the Etsy site, I would appreciate that, where I can increase my following on Etsy. It helps me build my business a little bit more. So, thank you so much for sharing with me today, and you have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.